One.
Hello and welcome to Gaelic Football Views on wearecavan.com.
Brilliant. So tonight we're going to be looking back on a very busy weekend in the Cully's Craft Bakery Junior Championships and the Hotel Kilmore Senior Championships, as well as a couple of other games that were going on. The Killigary ladies were out and the Cavan Masters were out as well. So, but we'll start off by giving our attention to the Cully's Craft Bakery Junior Football Championship semi-final on Friday night, which saw Cornafane taking on Kill in a windy, wet Kingspan Breffni Park, but Kill unfortunately couldn't put it up to a very, very strong Cornafane team. It finished 2 goals and 18 points to 1 goal and 4. What can you say about that?
Well, like we've been talking about Cornafane all year, you know, they really are showing themselves to be a really, really good team. And I did expect them to get to the final. I didn't expect them to beat Kill so comprehensively in a semi-final. And it just shows you the work that's been done in Cornafane. It's absolutely brilliant. They've got a great mix of youth and experience, or youth and owlfellas, if you want to say it like that. But we'll go nice.
I was going to go with the experience.
Yeah, we'll say the nice way of experience. But you know, they've done so well all year, and I just feel that, you know, the experience that they've had of being in junior finals and whatever is going to stand to them. And we'll get to the other semi-final in a few minutes, but it's going to be a cracker of a final as well.
It is. In fairness to Cornafane, from get-go they were in a commanding position. At half-time they led 13 points to 2. It was really, really convincing stuff. Some excellent performances. Liam Dignan at full forward scored 3 points in the open half. Pádraig Tully, corner forward, got 2 points. Jack Wharton got 1-2 in the first half, I think it was. You know, their full forward line was, 2 points in the first half. Their full forward line was absolutely flying. Now Barry Doyle was playing in, it was more like Liam Dignan and Barry Doyle. And Barry Doyle got 2 points in the first half. And it was a 2-man full forward line of them 2 lads. And in fairness to Cornafane, the difference between the two sides was that they were using the ball that much better than Kill. Kill were winning a fair share at the middle of the field, but their use of the ball going in was absolutely terrible. And you know, Cornafane just well drilled, worked harder probably over the hour, and thoroughly deserved their victory, and deserved it to the point of what the difference was in it, the 17 points difference. They were 17 points a better team.
Kill played Pierce McKenna in a corner forward position. You know, when he was wearing number 15, but dropping out.
He was out, yeah. He was
and
out.
Sean Gaffney, did he play at centre forward?
Yeah, he held it at centre forward. I have to say, Kieran Dignan was absolutely outstanding at centre back. He was marking Sean Gaffney. He held Sean Gaffney scoreless. Sean Gaffney scored 1 point from a free, and Kieran Dignan actually scored a point himself. So it was a phenomenal performance by Kieran Dignan. I was very impressed with Mark Johnson at full back as well, and Dan Wharton as well in corner back. They were 3 defenders that stood out for me.
Mark Johnson is really, you know, he's brought it to the next level. You know, he was in on a county panel there a good few years ago. He would have been young at the time. I think he was still just maybe out of under 21 at that stage.
Possibly.
And he's really. He's trained hard, he's bulked up, you know, and he doesn't give much away at full back.
No, it's going to be a brilliant battle watching him against Benjamin Kelly in the final, because that's going to be a mouth-watering battle.
Benjamin Kelly?
Up front.
Oh, we'll get to that semi-final in a minute.
But up front, Andrew Wharton had a very good game as well for Cornafane. And as we said, Barry Doyle, he finished up with 1 point from a free and 1-2 from open play. So, like, they're a formidable outfit, Cornafane. They were the better team. On the Kill Shamrock side, the one real positive you'd have to say was Conor McCaffrey. He was excellent. I have to say, he worked tirelessly. He tracked back. He turned over possession. He won a lot of ball. You know, he really tried his heart out and was very good, in fairness, for Kill. But he was probably the only player that stood out that, you know, you'd say was playing at his best. The rest of the lads, you know, you expect so much from them because there are so many good footballers in Kill, but it just didn't, you know, they had a very bad day at the office.
Yeah, and as well as that, I'd say as well that the way that Cornafane play, they've got power, and yet they've got skillful players as well, and they're big down the middle. And would it have been a fact that Cornafane just stopped Kill from playing?
Yeah, but I actually, tactically, they probably did. Yeah, in hindsight, looking at it, like that, Cornafane, where their half back line was sitting deep enough that the long ball threat was always nullified, and Kill persisted with the long ball in the first half when it just wasn't working. They kept kicking in ball, and Cornafane halfbacks just sitting behind would mop it up and go on the attack, and then they just used the ball that bit better going into the space. Like, there was a lot of spaces left in front of Liam Dignan and Barry Doyle for them to run onto. Like, they'd start in on the full forward line, run 15-20 yards out, pick up a ball and turn and swing it over the bar, and that was probably the difference, that the Kill half-back line didn't retreat enough to cover up those spaces, and that was all that was really in it. But like, considering the conditions, scoring 2 goals in 18 points was phenomenal from Cornafane.
So that sees them through to a junior final, and they will be playing, because the other semi-final, it was Mount Nugent taking on Templeport, and this finished Mount Nugent 11 points, Templeport 3 goals and 14 points. Another huge win in that junior championship semi-finals, and Templeport just have gone from strength to strength this year, and it's the final that we've kind of predicted earlier in the season.
Yeah, it definitely is, and I'm just looking, I don't know where my programme is for that game, but the scoreline flatters Templeport here slightly, I have to say. Right up until Templeport got the second goal, they got the very first goal in the first minute or two. I think it was Owen Doonan got the first goal for Templeport, and it was a cracking, but from that, then there was only that goal between them right up until maybe 15 minutes to go, and then Owen Doonan scored an absolute cracker of a goal. Brilliant move where somebody played, I think it was Ben Kieran, played a ball in over the top, and Doonan was running kind of across the goals from the right hand side of the goals across to the left hand side, but running in at the angle. The ball came over, and as it kind of bounced in front of him, came on the way back up, just kind of on the half bounce, Doonan poked it underneath the goalkeeper like soccer style. It was just brilliant, like, because he wouldn't have had time to look, and it wasn't as if he was running straight onto it to get it. He was kind of running, the ball came across his shoulder, and as it hit the ground, he seen the goalkeeper, and he just went boom with a soccer style into the back, and a brilliant finish.
Toe poked it into the net.
And in that incident, or maybe that was their third goal, I think. But then Mount Nugent had Darren Hennessy sent off in the middle of the field for striking, and it went from being a real close game to those 2 goals and a man down, and Mount Nugent just couldn't come back from it despite their best efforts.
It was funny because last week when we talked about this game, we did say that the Hennessys, both of them, the midfielder and the full forward, that they were going to be hugely important to Mount Nugent, and we did say, that they probably need to, rein in a bit of their, aggression or whatever, like. But they play on the edge, and
they do,
and that's part of how good they are.
That's exactly it. Like, if you took that away from them, would you take away the beast, the best part of the beast too? So it's hard to know, but I will say credit. Liam Hennessy, I thought, was very, very good in corner forward again, and they Ronan Carney as well was quite good. Kieran Caffrey, actually, surprisingly enough, now I know he's carrying an injury, but you could see it in him today. His kicking wasn't the same, and he usually has such a sweet left foot. Like, he actually should make the way our Cavan best left footers. But he really is. But he had an off day today, and they just didn't. I do feel sorry for them because the scoreline flatters Templeport. But let's talk about how good Templeport are too, in fairness, because Ben Kieran showed in this game not only can he pass a ball, can he kick a score, but he can high field. He caught 2 of the best kicks. Just absolutely brilliant in the middle of the field.
And he's not the tallest of men.
No, that was what was so impressive for me, because he rose above, and I stuttered doing commentary, kind of saying, who caught that ball? And when he came down, you could see it was Ben, but when he stretched up, just absolutely brilliant. I have to say, phenomenal stuff from Ben Kieran. They played with Benjamin Kelly in the full forward line, and he wasn't terribly effective. The main man for them was definitely Owen Doonan. He was really, really excellent. I think he finished with 2-4, maybe 2-5, which was a phenomenal.
It's interesting that they played Benjamin Kelly in the full forward line, because the half forward line has been where all the damage has been done with Ben Kieran, Benjamin and Donald Maguire.
Donald Maguire, the brother of the Man Mountain. Gave us one of the funnier moments. There was actually quite a few funny moments in Kingspan Rugby Park over the last weekend. Going back actually to Friday night, one of the funniest moments was, what's his name? Dara McMenamin, I think it was. You can correct me if I'm wrong, get on the Twitter there, but he was he was remonstrating with the referee about one of the decisions he gave to the Corner Féin forwards. I think it could have been Barry Doyle, and he was basically saying he dived, and in his manner of remonstration was basically to run 20 yards and in front of the referee do a Superman dive. It was absolutely Klinsman dived, and yeah, but literally went the whole way across and like ran 20 yards and then just dived and went like, that's what he done. It was fucking brilliant. It was hilarious. But
did you get a clip of that?
No, we didn't, unfortunately. But on the start of it was, I was talking about what? I'm after losing.
You were talking about Templeport. You were talking about Donald Maguire.
Yes, sorry, another funny moment. He was bearing down on goal. He had nobody but the goalkeeper in front of him, and he all he had to do was keep on going, and he had a goal, or definitely a shot on goal. And for some reason, he started to slow up as he was coming towards the 20-metre line, and a tackle came across, and you were kind of going, oh, maybe he slowed up because he's seen the tackle coming. So he sidestepped the tackle and then stood for literally maybe a second, which is a long time. He stood and then just like kicked it over the bar. You're like, what's he doing? I can't describe this at all. It was absolutely hilarious. But yeah, another very funny moment in Kingspan Park.
And there was another one as well this evening, but we'll come back to that in a few minutes' time.
We will indeed, later on.
That's going to go viral.
But Templeport they're in a good position. They're taking the road most travelled. They're taking the same route that Arva took last year. They've got a lot of the same criteria as Arva had last year. But the big difference is Corner Féin now. You know, to me this year, Corner Féin
have beaten Templeport already.
Yeah, but then Ballymacue had beaten Arva already last year.
Yeah, true.
As they went into the final. So it's set up to be an absolutely mouth-watering Cully's Craft Bakery Junior Championship final. And that's taking place not this coming Sunday. The following Sunday in Kingspan Park.
2 weeks tomorrow.
2 weeks yesterday.
What day is today?
Today's Monday.
Today's Sunday.
I know, but it's Monday when the people are seeing this.
2 weeks ago. 2 weeks yesterday. Yeah.
Which for date wise would be today is the 13th, so it's the 27th.
Yeah.
The 27th, the Cully's Craft Bakery Junior Championship final between Templeport and Corner Féin. Bound to be a good one. Mark it down in your diary. Get into Kingspan Breffni Park. You'll enjoy that.
And if you're watching this tonight, we recorded it last night, which would have been Sunday night, and that's why we were getting a little bit mixed up.
Exactly.
We've been in Kingspan Breffni Park all day. You have been, and we've been busy
all
with football all weekend. So
we sure have.
Next up, we have the Hotel Kilmore Senior Championship Round 3. Games that took place this weekend. Two replays that took place this weekend to find a place in the quarterfinals. And Ballinar were taking on Kingscourt, and that was this afternoon. And Ballinar lost on a scoreline of 5 points to Kingscourt's 10. A poor game, I believe, as well by all accounts. And Kingscourt see themselves through to quarterfinal.
They do indeed, and deservedly so. Definitely the better team on the day. Ballinar, like at half time, it was 6 points to 3. Second half, there was, I think, 16 minutes of the second half before we got a score. It was, to be perfectly honest, it was dire stuff. It really was. It was very poor.
Was it all defensive, Damien? Was it?
No, it wasn't. Yeah. I don't know what it was, to be perfectly honest. To be honest, the two teams were putting a lot of pressure, but it was littered with mistakes. It was littered with lads kicking away possession, lads taking the wrong option, a lot of wides. It didn't stink of quality at all, and it just was. It was very disappointing, I have to say now, because they're two good teams. I think it was the fact that there were two tired teams. Conditions weren't great. It was raining the whole way through the game, which, you know, could be used as an excuse, but then you look at Friday night and you see what Corner Féin were able to do in the rain, so you think, well, why can't senior teams do it? You know, so it was a disappointing performance. Like Ballinar to score 5 points would be bitterly disappointed.
3 of them from frees as well, I believe, only 2 from play.
Yeah, and they were over reliant on Niall McDermott, and the funny thing was that Ballinar looked their best this year when Niall McDermott probably wasn't there. Now that's not to knock Niall McDermott.
No, it's
the players around him.
Put too much
exactly.
emphasis on trying to get him, and he's only coming back from injury, and he's not fully fit at the moment either. You know, and he seems to be the focal point when he plays, and players don't look for anybody else when he's playing.
Exactly,
really.
because we were watching. Colin Gumley was inside with him, and Colin Gumley ended up getting taken off because he wasn't getting on any ball at all. But he was making good moves. He just all the time the Ballina players looked for Niall McDermott, and he was being marked by Shane Gray, and Shane Gray done a very good job on him.
I think there was, speaking to someone else as well, he may have been double tackled as well.
Yeah, well,
there's a bit of a sweeper in front of him.
Alan Clark was sitting in front, exactly. Alan was wearing number 15 coming back from the corner forward position in the sweeper role, and it just mopped up everything in front. But they really needed to use the ball that bit better, but they just didn't. I don't know, like Ballina did look like a tired team, and you know, I suppose understanding, I know they had a full week off this week, but maybe the week off actually gave the body a chance to bruise up or stiffen up.
Feel the pain that it was after going through. Like it was practically 5 games in 14 days or something, so it was
if you take the extra times and everything,
into it, like, you know, it's
absolutely nuts. But Kingscourt on the other side will be happy. Barry Riley and Kieran Gorman in the middle of the field played very well. The man of the match was probably Dara Gunn, absolutely outstanding. I think he got 4 or 5 points for Kingscourt. I haven't got the notes actually with me. I don't know where I left them, but Dara Gunn was definitely the main man inside. Joe Dillon was back. He played at full forward, not fully fit, not even near fully fit, but he's got an hour under his belt now, and he'll be delighted to have that extra game time as they go into a quarter final now, and they'll need him.
If Kingscourt go to a final, they'll have played, 10 or 11 games?
10 games.
10 games.
Yeah.
If
that's if there's no more draws.
No more draws. Yeah. So they've won 2. They've
won 3 now today.
They've won 3, lost 2,
and drawn 2. Yeah. So that's their 7 games in total. So it's been a hell of a championship. It's a hell of a journey that they're on already, Kingscourt. But on the other side, the back line, Pádraig Faulkner, back to the Pádraig Faulkner we know, absolutely brilliant. He had a phenomenal game there at centre back, and I suppose that's why their defence was so tight to only concede 5 points. Pádraig Faulkner centre back, Toasty as the sweeper, Shane Gray there, Barry Tully one side, Noel McIntyre the other. All very good defenders, and then in the corner they're very solid there. I can't think of the names of the cornerbacks now at the minute. Rory Shorten I think is one. And
but to have I'd say for Pádraig Faulkner as a centre back, to have Alan Clark sitting behind him just gives them that little bit more freedom and that little bit more confidence as well.
Yeah, that's it, that he can push forward, and he did drive
a player
forward.
Like Toasty sitting behind you who can mop up and read the game. He's one of the best readers of the game and playing that position as well.
He is probably the best sweeper in the county because he knows when to double up on the man. You know, as in it's not just a sweeper that sits there and coordinates. He basically reads the ball's about to go there 20 yards. I'm going to get there at the same time. We can double up, strip possession, and away we go.
Yeah.
And he's excellent at that.
And if a player's running to go towards goal, it's not he doesn't double up on them. It's when they're running away from goal and the ball is popped into that area for them. He knows that this is the right time, and you know, if he slips you, he's still going away from goal. Yeah. You know, he's just. I think he's a brilliant player.
Yeah. So they look forward now to a quarter final against Cavan Gaels. That's next Saturday evening, I think, in Kingspan Birthday Park. But you'll have to stay tuned to We Are Cavan to get the fixtures on that. The podcast during the week, we'll be bringing you the fixtures on it this coming weekend.
Yeah, the next game in the senior championship saw the Hotel Kilmore senior championship saw another round 3 game, and it was another replay, as we said already. Killygarry playing Coothill. This one went to extra time again. And I was just reading a tweet just before we went on air. In their 2 games, Killygarry and Coothill, between the first game and the replay, have given us 8 goals and 74 points in 2 games.
Brilliant. Absolutely
finished
brilliant.
Killygarry 319, Coothill 216. That's 28 points to 22, a 6-point win for Killygarry. Just like again, phenomenal stuff. Again.
It has to be said. Both teams have to be commended, and it's funny. I enjoy watching the defensive games when they're organised, and Castlerahan tonight, which we'll come on to, show the defence, and I enjoyed watching that. But I enjoyed watching this for the other aspects of Gaelic football. The point taken, the goal taken, the scores were of the highest order. Again, absolutely brilliant. And Enda Hessen, what can you say about that man? He is just so good. He finished with a goal, and I'm just going to make sure I get this right now. We have 2 and 4 is 6, and 3 is 9, and 1 is 10.
So a goal 10.
A goal and 10 out of the 216. Like he's Superman. He actually is Superman. He's brilliant.
He's such a great player. Like he has all the skill, like left foot, right foot. He's got like
for the size the ball off the ground with his left foot or his right foot.
Yeah, free kicks off the ground, left and right. He is quality. Yeah. He is absolute quality.
Absolutely brilliant, and he pulled all the strings. Probably if you were to play devil's advocate on it, you'd say to yourself, why in God's name didn't they double up on Enda Hessen and Killigarry would have won it? They wouldn't have had to go to extra time, because Pádraig Cahill was doing a brilliant job on Tom Hayes yet again. Now Tom Hayes had a probably slightly better game than he did the last day, but still not as good as you'd expect from Tom Hayes.
Yeah.
And Pádraig Cahill was very, very good on him. But Pádraig Cahill is an excellent man marker, I have to say. He's really, really good. But so like the Colm Smith only got on 2 frees. He scored 2 frees. The rest of the time he was kind of null and void. Didn't really contribute a hell of a lot. Probably the other key forward for Cootehill was Stevie O'Connor.
Right. Because Stevie O'Connor's been quiet in the last couple of games. So
yeah, he kind of hasn't. He hasn't. Stevie is a very, very unselfish player. He gets on a lot of ball, and he'll give it to the right man at the right time all the time. And he, to me, he's been consistent. That you know what you're going to get from Stevie all the time. It's not he'll go out. He doesn't necessarily hang in close to goals all the time. He'll go out the field. He'll pick up ball. He'll be the link man. He'll give a 30-yard kick pass. He's got all those tools in the box, and he for me, he's got a goal and a point, and was the one forward that was really pushing and trying hard to help out Enda Hessen there on the Cootehill team. But John McCutcheon had a good enough game in the middle of the field. John Carney wasn't too bad as a wing half back, in fairness, and Damien Sherlock had a good game actually at wing half back. Gerard Argue started the game as wing forward. He had to go off with a concussion, so we wish Gerard the very best of luck. Hopefully you recover and everything is okay, but he took a tight rap now. It was accidental, but at half time it was Cootehill who were leading 1-7 to 1-6. It was 1 point lead to Cootehill, and they were probably the better team in the first half, but it was entertaining. Like, you know, there was more scores in that game in the first half than there was in the entire game between Ballina and King's Court. You know, it was really entertaining. On the Killigarry side, you'd have to say that they had so much quality in their forward line that it just stood out. Matty McKenna finished with 1-3. Andy McGovern finished with 1-4.
Did Andy didn't play as a sweeper then, did he?
He kind of did, and
at times,
but still got up. I have to say Andy was probably man of the match. He was absolutely brilliant. Very closely followed by Brian Shannon, who took responsibility for a young fella that I was delighted to see. The very first free that Killigarry got down in the town end, it was to the right hand side of the goals, about 25 yards out. You know, suited Martin Riley, and you'd say this is a Martin Riley free, and Brian Shannon went over, took the ball and said, I'm taking this. He didn't take it off Martin Riley, and you could see he must have had a bit of a conversation with Martin Riley, and Martin was like, yeah, let him at it, you have this. And on his
that's testament as well to Martin Riley.
Yes, yeah,
you know,
he's a team player.
He's just a team player, and he's saying, right, if your confidence is up, you're taking that.
That's it. And he was on his weaker left foot, and he sent the ball. Like I'd say he scored 4 frees. I'd say 2 of them were on his left foot, maybe even 3, and he scored the others on his right foot. So Brian Shannon really stood up and came of age. And I have to say, for Killigarry, it was the younger lads. Dara Gannon come on, Brian Shannon there, Matty McKenna. They were the ones who really drove Killigarry on. Connor Smith come on as well, of course, County Minor, another one. And they were the difference for me in Killigarry winning and maybe not being able to push on. That you know, they just had more strength and depth in the panel than Cootehill. But it was a good win. They march on now into a quarter final where they face Mullahoran again this coming Saturday, live on wearecavan.com. The coverage brought to you by Crover House Hotel. But it's an absolutely. It's Kieran Riley back to Mullahoran again. He's the man who knows Mullahoran inside out. He's won a senior championship with Mullahoran, and he'll have Killigarry confident as hell that they're going to cause an upset here. And I hope Killigarry don't mind me saying some of the Killishandra lads were disappointed that we said that it was an upset, but it would be an upset if Killigarry was to beat Mullahoran, but they're capable of doing it.
Absolutely.
So
that sees them through to a quarter-final, and just as we mentioned that there was 2 quarter-final matches played this weekend. Killishandra were taking on Lacken and Castleran were taking on Ramor. First game, Killishandra and Lacken. This finished Killishandra 2 goals and 11. Lacken 1 goal and 9. A 5-point win for Killishandra, and fully deserved from what I believe.
Without a doubt. Absolutely brilliant performance by Killishandra, and not that it's been any surprise, definitely to me anyway. I know a lot of people were saying that they thought Killishandra would come up against a Lacken team and fall at that hurdle, but I was saying that although I thought maybe Lacken might go in as favourites and might come through it, I said it won't be an upset if Killishandra win this game, and for me it wasn't an upset at all, because they were after showing against Castleran what they were capable of doing, and then when we done the commentary and we were carving up in Killigarry against Coothill, and when their backs were to the wall, I think they were down by maybe 3 or 4 points at one stage in that game, they still just kept driving at it, and they hit a number of wides, and you thought, oh God, they're missing
9 wides in 9 minutes. It was phenomenal.
But they actually started this game in the same fashion. Declan McKiernan had 4 wides on the board before he got his point, and I suppose it's credit to the man that you can say he hit 4 wides, and then his first point, he got the ball on the 45-metre line, turned, had a shot and stuck it over the bar. You know, a lesser player would say, geez, no, I'm after hitting 4 wides, I'm too far out, I'm not taking this on. But no, Declan just has the confidence, and obviously it's been installed by management to, you know, not knock lads for hitting wides, just keep having a go and the scores will come. And
if you kill the ball, that's what you want. If it drops short, you're putting your team under pressure straight away. But Declan definitely wouldn't be afraid to shoot.
No. Brilliant.
He wouldn't be afraid to shoot from midfield either.
No. He had a brilliant game, I have to say, but he wasn't on his own by any means, and anyone who thinks that Killishandra are a one-man outfit are completely wrong. Shane Riley at wing half-back, he got a black card just before half-time, but he had 3 points to his name by the time he got the black card. Like, he was playing absolutely excellent. I think he had 3 points, I think, anyway. Daniel Luby, wing half-forward, got a goal, and he got one of the goals, and I think the other one came from... who was it? It was actually Austin Fitzpatrick at the end. Actually, we have a clip up on our Twitter page, and We Are Cavan on Twitter. You'll see that, but it was a very good move by Killishandra, breaking up. Tomas O'Reilly has to come in for special mention again. He was absolutely excellent as centre forward.
He's been brilliant all year, so he has. And again, a really unselfish player.
Yes.
He plays at centre half forward, and he just drives at teams, draws defenders, gives the ball, goes again. That's what I love about him, is that when he gives the ball off, he goes faster for the next ball. He increases his speed to try and get in there and causes.
And he does run straight lines direct at defenders, and it must be a nightmare when you see Tomas O'Reilly coming tearing at you. What do you do?
Strong as well.
Stand out of the way, or you take him down.
Yeah.
You know, it's one or the other. But Damien Higgins did a very good game at centre back. Kyle Duffy as well, and Dara Tai was excellent at full back. The worrying thing now, as Killishandra prepare for a semi-final, is that Dara Tai has booked. He's doing a round the world trip, I think, and he has the starting date is before the semi-final. So he has been absolutely fantastic as well. He was due to fly to South America within the next week or 2 weeks or something like that. So I don't know what's going to come from that.
Did he not expect to be in a semi-final of a senior championship?
That was going to be my argument to anyone from Killishandra, and they were giving lots of comments on We Are Cavan about the upset and unexpected and that. So my point is, if Dara Tai was booking his holidays, does that not say enough to you? Like, that obviously he didn't really think that they were going to be in a semi-final. And look, credit to them though, he probably booked it maybe 4 or 5 months ago, but at that time.
And it's funny because we spoke about the Killishandra about 4 or 5 months ago, where they were going through a very, very bad patch.
That's right, yeah.
And it just turned on its head like that. After a game, they actually had an argument on the side of a pitch, all the players, we spoke about it.
That's right.
And since that day, their season has just turned around, and they're through to the semi-final of the senior championship.
That's right.
they've beaten Castlerahan and they've beaten Lacken, two
And Cruthead.
stalwarts of senior football.
Yeah.
You know,
two long-standing senior teams, like well-established.
Well-established
and
senior
two teams that people would say are in the top 7 that could win a senior championship, and they've beaten 2 of them. So why can't they beat another 2?
Yeah.
There's nothing to
Absolutely,
say.
it's absolutely brilliant. But the second of the quarterfinals took place this evening. It was Kingspan in Kingspan Breffni Park, and it was between Castlerahan and Ramor. They're near neighbours. This local derby, we spoke about it last week. Who was going to win this? Castlerahan blew Ramor out of the water, and Ramor had no answer for them. Castlerahan 2-14, Ramor 1 goal and 8. I'm just astounded at how far Castlerahan have come in the space of 6 weeks, I'd say. The night that we watched them, and I still can't remember who they were playing that night in Breffni Park, and I just thought that they were a tired, unfit team, and they've just changed. They've just turned it around. They've been absolutely phenomenal, and their performance there tonight, incredible against Ramor.
Yeah, absolutely brilliant. Like, they got off to the perfect start. Cian Mackey goal, 2 points, one from Oisin O'Connell and one from Mackey, to set them off 1-2 in the first 2 minutes. And from that point, the game plan for Castlerahan can work. Retreat, get the numbers back, and break at speed.
Yeah,
you know,
counter-attack football. You know, and the thing about it is that they're very good at it, and they drop so many people back. When the other team come forward, that leaves space for the likes of your Cian Macarone, your Cian Mackey.
Yeah.
But when they're breaking
Oisin
out,
O'Connor.
there's fellas just running in all directions, and it's not just random running. It's planned where they're all running to.
Yeah,
to
well,
make
they all
space
know.
in the
They all
forward line.
know about the space awareness of the man on the ball and to create options all the time, but that they're not all just running on top of each other. There's 1, 2, maybe 3 options for the man on the ball all the time, and a lot of it is dictated to by the man on the ball's own tempo. Whether if he's running at full speed, the lads are coming off him at full speed. If he's trotting, the lads are just trotting around him. Like, it's dictated to, and it seems organised. Now maybe it's not, but it appears to be organised. Sometimes you'll see Ronan Flanagan coming out with ball and he's at 100 mile an hour and the lads are running by him at speed, and other times you'll see him just trotting and the lads just are looping around, floating in that area. So, but like, look at, I don't know where you start talking about it. Probably the man of the match for me in this one was the corner forward for, well, he was playing in corner forward, but Oisin O'Connell, I thought he was absolutely outstanding.
Oisin O'Connell was brilliant there. From what I saw, he only joined you in the second half, but he was excellent. He did everything right on the ball, and he ran at the Ramor defence. It was funny. It was something that Castlerahan had picked out in Ramor, was that we run at them. And they just, every time that they attacked them, nobody was standing still. They were running at pace. And funnily enough, when Fergal Flanagan came on towards the end, he was a great outlet. The ball, because there was so much space, it was kicked in front of him. He was winning it, but he wasn't trying to turn around. He was popping it. And it was just, on their performance tonight, you definitely say, God, they could win a senior championship.
Yeah.
But how bad were Ramor tonight?
Yeah, like Ramor made mistakes tonight that I've never seen a Ramor team in all my years probably watching. They made mistakes tonight that you'd never see a Ramor team making. Simple hand passes, simple kick passes, very wasteful of possession, lack of running, lack of support. Their big players let them down. Let them down is probably harsh, but they didn't really show up. The players that you were saying, they're the county men, they're the players that are older, they'll be able to bring these young boys on. They weren't able to do it tonight.
And it was interesting that, they were just chasing the game, and I don't think it suited them at all, because they ended up being forcing themselves to making mistakes. I saw at one stage James McEnroe running at the heart of the Castlerahan defence, took on a few tackles, and then tried to release a ball to one of the players, but it was just too little too late. We probably should have released it a little bit earlier, but he was trying to create something. But and break that tackle, break the line,
get something over that. But Castlerahan are so good at this defensive system. They know, they'll give you the ball out in the sideline, they'll give you the ball out around the middle of the field, but once you get inside that scoring zone, inside the D, they're going to crowd it out. They'll swarm over and back in a very small area and get the tackles on all the time in that area, and then they'll break at speed, and they're masters at that. This isn't a game plan that Michael Riley has come in and said, I'm going to change everything. He's watched what they're good at and said, why would I change it? You are good at this. I just need to tweak a few things.
Yeah.
Bring in a wee bit more strength, bring in a wee bit more physicality, which he's got with Cormac Daly, Barry Cusick there, Alan Cusick.
Cian McEnroe, big man.
Cian McEnroe, Fergal Riley.
Very strong on the
Brian
ball
Coleman,
today.
like some big strong men. And that seems to be the difference, that Castlereagh for a few years there looked like they hadn't the big men to carry them through to get the rough and tumble stuff. But now they've a spine there that's physically strong, and that could be the difference.
Well, they just seem to be steadily building, and like as we said, maybe 5-6 weeks ago they played in the championship, and I just couldn't see them winning another game. I really couldn't. After it was after the loss to Killashandra, but I was really thinking, no, they're not going to go much further. And since then, they've just blown me away, because I've seen them twice since, and their fitness levels seem to have just come to them just like that.
Yeah, in fairness. And it was after the Killashandra, we spoke to Michael Riley on We Are Cavan after the game, and he said it was after the Killashandra game that they knuckled down and said, listen, we need to go places here, we're going to have to change things, and we'll work hard and get ourselves out of this hole. And they've obviously done that and worked hard, and they've got the results to prove. So they progress now on to the semi-final, which will be on the same weekend as the junior championship final.
And we have in the semi-finals now, we have Killashandra and Castlereagh. And the draw for that, for the semi-finals, will be done next Saturday night. Is that right?
Live on
Breffni Park.
Next Saturday night is right. Sorry, live on wearecavan.com.
And we'll find out who the pairings will be for the semi-finals.
Yeah, we will do. So it's the winners of Cavan Gaels and Kingscourt, which is this coming weekend, and Mullahoran and Killigarry. And they'll face obviously Castlereagh and Killashandra. So moving on then, I suppose, to other results, just two very quick results to bring you before the end of the show. The Killigarry Cavan Intermediate Ladies Champions were out in Ulster this weekend. It was the preliminary round. They were facing the Fermanagh champions, Lisnaskea, but they came up a cropper.
Yeah, we didn't get to hear much about this game. We only got the result from online earlier on, but it was Lisnaskea 3-10, Killigarry 2-7. Disappointing result for the Killigarry girls. They only won their intermediate championship last week. It's probably just a short turnaround for them. It's disappointing.
It's disappointing, and it was a home game for Killigarry. Unfortunately, even though it was played up in Crubany, they didn't manage to get the result there. But look at our commiserations to Killigarry, and hopefully the Lorgan girls and the Drumgoon girls can do us proud in Ulster.
Yeah, absolutely.
The Cavan Masters were playing this morning actually in Coothill, or yesterday morning in Coothill against Monaghan, and they came out with a massive victory here. 3 goals and 17 points to 2 goals and 11. A wonderful result for the Cavan Masters. Jimmy Galligan, the referee from Lacken.
Well, that's
a loose term.
That's a loose term, so there's calling him a referee. It is indeed. In fairness,
but
your man who stands in the middle with the black and the whistle.
But very rarely
getting all the decisions wrong. That fella.
Well, he was filling me in. He said there was some excellent performances. I just jotted down a couple of names that he said had played very well, but he named a lot more. He said in general it was a very, very good team performance overall, but he said Mark Rehill was excellent.
Crushlaw Mark,
yeah. Kieran Fox from Coothill was very good. Christy Shields from Mullahoran was excellent. Brian Doyle as well from Cornafane, excellent. So he named another 4 or 5 on top of that. I just didn't have time to jot them down because he talks very fast, and it was half time in the game. We were about to go back on air. So, but congratulations to them. And they face Longford this coming weekend with a venue to be decided, but it's a home game again for Cavan. So they're hoping to continue their winning ways.
Yes, absolutely, and well done to Jimmy Galligan and all the lads. There's one thing we forgot to mention as well. There was a last funny. So there was 2 funnies you mentioned already, but there was a third funny. Now, it's poor lad, but we're going to have to. He is going to go viral, so he is.
I think he's already gone viral.
He's already gone viral, so it's not our fault on this show. In the Ramor Castlereagh game. in the Ramor Castlereagh match this evening in Kingspan Breffni Park, something you won't see too often. There was an own point by one of the Ramor players, just to really show you how bad their night went. It was Stephen Connolly, the cornerback. In fairness, I've watched the clip. It's on We Are Cavan. You'll be able to see it.
It's
But he managed to get a tackle on. The ball was going away from him and the corner forward,
Oisin O'Connell,
and he went to pulling it with his left foot as he was kind of running towards the end line and pulling it and put it out to the right, but it skewed off the outside of his left foot and it went perfectly over the black spot. And the poor lad ended up giving a point to Castlerahan. But if you haven't seen it, get on to We Are Cavan or get on to balls.ie or joe.ie because I'm sure it'll be on those as well.
Yeah, I think it's already on some of them already.
Solo.
It's on our Twitter page, it's on We Are Cavan, and we'll retweet it on the Gaelic Football Views account as well, just so you can have a look. But look, at our apologies to Stefan, but it has to be shown. It's just such a freak of nature in Gaelic football.
And it's actually already been retweeted and commented on by the one and only Tommy Tiernan.
Yes, Tommy Tiernan is a fan.
Yeah, Tommy Tiernan is a fan of We Are Cavan. He does a lot of retweeting and stuff like that. So, if Tommy likes it, there must be some comic value to it.
Comic moments for it, and I'm sure Stefan won't enjoy that. But look, maybe in time he'll look back and see the funny side.
Yeah, he probably won't want to watch that for about a week.
Yeah,
so he won't,
so,
at least.
Probably so. But anyway. So that brings us to the end of this week's show. Remember, if you want to get in contact with us, we'd be delighted to hear from you. As we say, we're now on wearecavan.com, so that game or the show will be brought to you every single week on the We Are Cavan website. So stay on We Are Cavan for all of the latest news on Cavan GAA and other sports in the area.
Yeah. So
if you want to email us, you can still email us on GaelicFootballViews@gmail.com.
Yeah, you can find us on Facebook by searching Gaelic Football Views, or you can find us on Twitter at GaelicFE, or you can get us now on wearecavan@gmail.com.
Or on Twitter it's We Are Cavan, or on Facebook it's We Are Cavan. So
we've got loads of emails, we've got loads of Facebook accounts. And
probably won't answer any of them, to be honest.
Thanks to the backroom team again, the one and only Mr. Brian Daly. He's always there for us, and he's always there when we need him as well, which is great, you know. So if I'm feeling down, I'm going to go in and
get a hug
with Brian.
Get a hug from Brian.
So
and a belated happy birthday to Brian Daly.
Oh yes, absolutely.
It was Brian's birthday last Wednesday, I think.
Yeah, it was indeed. So if you're sending in the cards, make sure you send them to Cavan Crystal Hotel on the Dublin Road.
Hotel there on the Dublin Road.
Hotel on the Dublin Road, you know that
and
one.
make checks payable out to Brian Daly or cash.
So until next week, it's good night and
God bless.
I'm not getting a cramp.